Today I'm going to be making a recipe which I've created. It's a green plantain curry. I believe it's a dish that will be good for people on a low carb, low sugar type diet. I've got my ingredients lined up here. I will be using Maggi cubes. I've got here curry and thyme powder. I've also got here fresh prawns as well. I've got crispy onions which I will be using really for texture, just to garnish the dish. And I've got here a variety of bell peppers, sweet peppers. I've got red, I've got yellow, I've got orange. And then I've got here my chicken stock. I've also got my grilled chicken here. You can use whatever meat you fancy. I'm literally just using grilled chicken because I think it works well with this recipe. I've got here fresh kale leaves. You can use ugu, you can use spinach, you can use whatever green you like. And then in a tub, I've got here some garlic, some ginger, some red onions, and fresh pepper, scotch bonnet or atarodo, we call it in Nigeria. And then I've got some salt here. I'm going to list the ingredients right there for you to see. And moving swiftly on to cooking. Now, in a pot of boiling water, you're going to put in some salt based on how many plantains you're cooking. I'm cooking just 2. So you put the salt, stir it, then you go ahead and put in your plantains. You're going to put that in carefully so that you don't splash that on yourself or you don't burn yourself. Just put that in gently. Well, sorry, I'm just going to pour that in, but do that carefully just so you don't burn yourself. And then we're going to cover that and let that cook for about 15 to 18 minutes. And then after which we're going to check to see that that is nice and soft. It is nice and soft, so we're going to take that out, drain it, peel it, and put that in the pot because we're going to cover it and shake it just to get those rough edges to crisp up when we bake it. Now onto the baking process. You can skip this part if you don't want to bake it, but this is to get the plantains nice brown and crisp. Now to a tin foil which I had in the oven, and I put in some rosemary and some garlic just so all of those flavors can be infused in the oil. You're going to put in all your plantains in the tin foil. Now before you put the plantains back in the oven, we're literally going to get all of the flavored oil on the plantains. So right when you finish transferring all of that plantain, you're literally just going to get a spoon and then pour the oil over the plantains. Now don't worry about the excess oil because all of that oil is going in the pot. We're going to use it for the sauce. If you don't want to use any oil on the plantain, you can just grill it. Now that goes back in the oven. Now onto the sauce. You're literally just going to put that pot with the oil on medium heat and then put all of that garlic, ginger, onion, pepper in the oil and stir it. Then leave it to sweat for about 2-3 minutes. After which you're going to come back to it and you're going to put your curry and thyme powder in there. Look at how beautiful that colour is, but you want to stir it in nicely so that it's evenly distributed. Then you go ahead and let that sit for about 1 to 2 minutes. Then you go ahead and then pour your chicken or your meat, whatever it is you're using, you put that in. Go ahead and stir that so that the chicken's covered in all of the goodness. Then put in your Maggi cubes or whatever cubes you're using. Then you're going to now add your chicken stock for the chicken to cook nicely in its juices. You're going to go ahead and stir that nicely before you cover that up to sizzle. Now cover it and then let that sizzle for about 2 minutes. Then you want to go ahead and put in your kale or whatever leaves you're using, put that in now. Stir that as well so that it gets covered in all of those juices. Now we're going to add a thickener. I've literally just put flour in there and some water. You can use corn flour if you like, or whatever thickener you want, just a little bit in there. Stir it. Stir that and leave that for about 2-3 minutes. Then you go ahead and put in your peppers. You can use whatever selection you like. There isn't any restriction as to what colours of peppers that you can use. I literally just bought this in a pack. That's why I've got this colours. You can use whatever colours you want. Or you can even, just stick to one colour for what. And then stir that. I'm going to give you a closer look. Look at that. Look. It's the smells amazing, the color's beautiful. You can use this for rice, you can use it for potatoes, you can use it for whatever. There's no restriction whatsoever. On to the last stage of this. We're going to put the king prawns. Look at the size of that. Look at how nice and chunky that is. You can use whatever you like, whatever size, doesn't matter. Just put that in. Stir it, and then we're going to cover that up for like 3 minutes. Cover that up and then give it 3 minutes. 3 minutes, that is cooked. Cover that up, turn the cooker off and wait for the plantains to brown. Whilst that is happening, I'm literally onto this. I think it'd be a bit unfair if I don't wet my palate and prepare it for all that goodness. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I'm just gonna pour myself some nice chilled something whilst I wait to receive all of this. Oh God, nice. Boy.